The shocking truth about tattoos. 3 dark secrets that haunt your soul forever. In a world where ink meets skin, 3 harrowing truths lurk in the shadows, waiting to ensnare the unwary. What if those tattoos you wear so proudly are not just art, but vessels of dark energy that threaten your very soul? Picture this. The moment the needle first pierces your skin, the sensation surges through you like a jolt of electricity. But it's not just pain, it's the beginning of a haunting. The first chilling fact? Each tattoo carries the essence of its creator. Imagine artists pouring their heartache, love, and pain into every line they draw. What happens if those emotions were darker than ink? Could your soul become a canvas for their demons? As you traverse the crowded, bustling streets, can you feel their despair swirling around you? It's a sensation that wraps around you, suffocating like a heavy cloak, whispering of past tragedies buried deep within the ink. But that's just the beginning. Peer closely, and you might find the next truth lurking in the creases of your very own skin. A tattoo can unveil secrets that should remain hidden. What if the designs hold symbols of betrayal or pain, unseen to you but glaringly evident to others? It's a night filled with whispers and gasps, as strangers pass by, staring at your skin like it's a puzzle they long to solve. Each glance a reminder of choices made, or regrets not yet faced. And just when you think you've grasped it all, there's the final, spine-chilling reveal that might just shatter your very perception. Tattoos can bind you to the energy of your life's moments, both good and bad. Each joyful memory captured forever in ink, but also every heartbreak and shadow. Can you bear the weight of it? What if the next time you glanced at that beautiful artwork, you were not greeted by joy but shadows of your past? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon, and while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. So here you stand, staring at your reflection. What stares back? Are you a mosaic of memories or a ticking time bomb of buried secrets waiting to explode? Could unearthing these truths lead you down a path you never expected? The night is set, shadows lengthen. What will your next decision be? The clock is ticking, dear friend. The night air crackled with tension, a feeling that wrapped itself around every passerby on the crowded street as Jenna stood before the mirror. Her heart pounded like a drum, each beat echoing the gnawing fear that rooted itself deep within her. Dark clouds of doubt began swirling in her mind. What if the past she thought she left behind was writing itself into her skin? Suddenly, she felt the weight of invisible eyes piercing through her, looking not at her but into her. Old stories echoed in the back of her mind. She remembered her friend Lucy's tattoo. A beautiful phoenix, vibrant and alive, but Lucy had fallen into shadows, spiraling into depression shortly after. Was it the tattoo that changed her, or the choice to make it permanent? With a shudder, Jenna turned away from her reflection. The city roared around her. Laughter spilled from a nearby bar, punctuated by the clinking of glasses. But the sounds felt distant, muted by the growing unease inside her. She wrapped her arms around her body, trying to drown out the whispers that clawed at her consciousness. What if she, too, was drawing in darkness with every mark she inked? Unsteadily, she took a step back, her fingers grazing the tattoo on her wrist, a delicate rose entwined with a thorny vine, forever a reminder of her first love and its bitter end. It was beautiful, yet she could feel despair radiating from it. The memories surged back, sharp as barbed wire. The laughter, the promise, and then the heartbreak. Each memory clung to her like the rose's thorns, and she could almost hear whispers of unworthy floating through the air, echoing from the faces of lost friends, lovers, and battles long fought. She walked down the street, fumbling with a lingering sense of dread. The world spun in chaos around her. A couple strolled by, their fingers intertwining, laughter spilling between them like wine. Jenna felt something shift within her. Was she cursed to carry the weight of love lost forever? She glanced at the ink on her wrist again, and suddenly, she could see it more clearly than before. A reflection of her own pain. A flash in the corner of her eye caught her attention. A woman stood out against the backdrop of the city, cloaked in shadows, her arm adorned with vivid tattoos. They seemed to move, twisting and writhing as if alive. Jenna felt a pull, an irresistible urge to approach. Was this woman a warning or a guide? Are you ready to face what lies beneath? The stranger asked, her voice a shiver in the night. The piercing gaze felt like a key unlocking Jenna's guarded emotions. Heart racing, she took a long breath. Ready or not, my secrets are out, Jenna replied, her voice steady yet shaky. In an instant, the shadows around them thickened, and deafening silence blanketed the chaos of the nightlife. Everything felt suspended, as if time itself held its breath. Jenna felt a shift deep within her, a flicker of realization igniting the hollow void that had taken residence in her heart. What if you could change your story? The woman whispered, leaning closer. But as the words hung in the air, anticipation threaded with fear. Something shifted behind Jenna, sending a chill down her spine. She turned just in time to see shattered glass scattering across the street, revealing an erratic figure staggering out of the bar, blood pouring from a jagged cut on his forearm. Help! Something's coming, he cried out, eyes wild with terror. The night's tension exploded as curiosity and fear merged. Pulling Jenna back into the reality, she desperately tried to escape. What was this unknown danger? Her pulse raced. Was this a fight for survival or a chance to rewrite her fate? As she faced both fear and decision, her whole world was about to change. What lay ahead, salvation or a deeper plunge into chaos? The darkness beckoned. Jenna's heart raced, each beat punctuated by the chaos swirling around her. The man, bloodied and frantic, staggered closer, his eyes wide like saucers, reflecting the streetlights with a manic glint. A shroud of panic gripped Jenna, squeezing the air from her lungs. She edged back, but her feet felt glued to the pavement. What do you mean something's coming? She could barely form the words, each one weighed down by dread. He stumbled, his voice trembling. I felt it. The shadows. They're watching us. They want something. The urgency in his tones sliced through her shock, awakening something primal within her. Behind him, the bar's once cheerful atmosphere shifted as people rushed out, curious but apprehensive. Their faces mirrored her own growing anxiety. Whispers floated through the air, tension crackling like static. Do you need help? A bar patron shouted, but the man shook his head vehemently, eyes darting as if seeking to spot an unseen threat. Suddenly, Jenna's gaze returned to the woman with the swirling tattoos in the shadows. She hadn't moved. Her expression was neutral, inscrutable. A chill shot down Jenna's spine. Had she conjured this chaos? Was this her fault? The bloodied man fell to his knees, clutching his arm as if trying to staunch the flow. They're more than shadows, he yelled, and his words sent ripples of panic through the crowd as if the night had conspired against them. The streetlights flickered ominously, plunging them into darkness for brief moments before sputtering back to life. Jenna felt the world tilt. Was it just the electrical malfunction? Or something far more sinister? Run! We have to get out of here! A woman screamed, breaking the paralysis that had gripped them all. Bodies shifted, colliding in their haste. A frantic dance of fear as people scrambled to escape. That instinct to flee boiled within Jenna, but she felt rooted to her spot. Something in the air crackled with potential, electricity sparking through her veins. The bloodied figure looked at her, desperation etched on his face. You have to believe me. They're coming for us. Who? Jenna breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. The man hesitated, glancing into the distance as if he could see a horror looming just outside of view. The ones marked. They know your pain. They'll use it. His words sent a new wave of terror crashing over her. Marked? The tattoos? Her throat tightened along with the cold grip of dread. Was this some twisted destiny she couldn't escape? Suddenly, a low, rumbling sound echoed through the street, thrumming against her chest. It came from deep within the alleyway behind the bar. Was it the shadows he spoke of? Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that something was rising. Help! The man gasped again, as shadows fled from the alley, fanning out like dark smoke. Jenna felt her breath hitch, scattering thoughts in a whirlwind of confusion and fear. Jenna! The woman with the tattoos stepped closer, her voice low but commanding, breaking through the chaos. Trust the process. You're stronger than you know, but you have to face it. A rush of courage surged through Jenna, fighting against the paralyzing fear that chained her. What do I do? She shouted over the chaos. Remember, you hold the pen. The woman urged, her eyes intense and steady. Write your story, and don't let the darkness take you. As the shadows converged, Jenna's pulse pounded in her ears, drowning out the screams. In that moment, the truth crashed down around her. She must decide succumb to the fear or fight back. With a determined breath, she grabbed the bloodied man's shoulder, locking eyes with him. We face this together, whatever it is. But as she prepared to confront the darkness, a new figure emerged tall, cloaked. Jenna's heart seized as she realized the silhouette mirrored her own worst fears. Did she truly have the strength to rewrite her fate? What began as chaos promised to turn into a reckoning. And soon, Jenna would discover if she could triumph over the shadows waiting to claim her. Would her choice spark salvation or plunge her deeper into despair? The night held its breath, teetering on the edge. The tall figure drifted closer, ethereal and haunting. Its cloak billowed like dark smoke, and Jenna felt an icy grip on her heart. The bloodied man recoiled, his breath coming in shallow gasps. Stay back, he yelled, eyes wide. Panic spilling over to Jenna's mind raced. What are you? She demanded, her voice trembling, yet threaded with a flicker of resolve. With fluid, deliberate movements, the figure lifted its hands, revealing a face obscured by shadows. But Jenna sensed it an unsettling familiarity, an echo of her own silhouette. I'm your reckoning, it whispered, voice a haunting melody that twisted deep within her core. You called for this. The world around her began to fold in, an all-consuming vortex of sounds, faces, and fear. Gasps, cries, and the clatter of feet scuttling away created a chaotic symphony, and yet all she could do was stare into the dark abyss of the figure before her. What do you mean I called for this? Jenna asked, a lump of dread forming in her throat. The figure stepped into a faulty beam of streetlight, revealing a face molded from shadows. It wasn't just a reflection. It was a grotesque distortion of herself, a reminder of every choice she made, the ones she regretted, the ones that carved her pain into the very fabric of her soul. And then it struck her. It was not just about her mistakes or fears, but the secrets hiding beneath her skin, the very tattoos she had etched into her flesh. Your ink carries your history, your suffering, it said, voice soft but penetrating. Each mark amplifies the darkness that seeks to swallow you whole. They're not mere decorations. They're chains binding you to your past. Are you ready to confront them? The crowd around them began to dissipate in waves of terror, but Jenna felt a flicker of defiance igniting within her. I refuse to be defined by my past, she spat, forcing her shaky words out with an unexpected strength. With every syllable, Jenna took a step forward. A palpable tension surrounded her, drawing the dark figure back, shifting the balance of power. With each breath, the air thickened, electrified by the mounting pressure of their looming confrontation. Shadows quivered at the edges of her vision, waiting, watching. You believe in strength, the figure replied, lips twisting in a mocking smile. But true strength lies in acknowledging your scars, not pretending they don't exist. Are you ready to embrace the darkness? As the words settled over her like a heavy cloak, Jenna's resolve fought against the shadows creeping in. You're wrong, she shouted, voices overlapping in her head like a cacophony of dissenting opinions. If I face my pain, I can overcome it. I can turn it into my power. Suddenly, the shadows lunged, swirling and blending seamlessly with the figure, an avalanche of darkness crashing toward her. Jenna felt the weight of the crowd's gaze, unyielding in judgment and curiosity, tension rippling through them. "Help!" roared the bloodied man, and the chaos surged anew, scattering the last remnants of the audience. Her heart raced. She needed to act before the darkness consumed them all. But could she truly confront the haunting truth of her tattoos, dismantle the fear that had played puppet master over her life? And then she remembered the woman's words, "You hold the pen. I want to run." Jenna screamed, thrusting her hands forward as if to reclaim her agency, to rewrite her story. But as the darkness closed in, ready to engulf her, a piercing light broke through the gloom, casting an outline on the figure standing before her. What truth lay behind that light? Was it salvation or destruction? Jenna's mind spun, and just as the shadows reached her, she felt the unexpected warmth of hope ignite deep within her. But would it be enough to conquer the approaching darkness? The answer loomed ahead, and the looming confrontation was on the brink of unraveling. Would she be able to wield the power of her story, or would she succumb to the weight of her dark past? The night simmered in anticipation, ready to unveil its next revelation. The shadows lunged forward with a force that made Jenna's heart race. It felt like a tidal wave crashing overhead, ready to drown the last shreds of her sanity. She could see faces distorted with fear, the bloodied man's despair etched into his features as he stumbled backward, terror straining his voice into a wavering shout. Jenna braced herself. "No!" she yelled, desperation coursing through her veins. She could feel the warmth of hope battling the freezing grasp of dread. As the darkness enveloped her, she focused on the light. It pulsed like a heartbeat, steady and strong, beckoning her to move forward. Jenna summoned every ounce of strength, forcing her legs to carry her towards the figure shrouded in veils of shadow. "I refuse to live in fear." The ethereal entity halted, as if momentarily taken aback by her roar of defiance. For a heartbeat, silence hung heavy in the air. Then it emitted a low, mocking laugh that resonated through the shattered remnants of the crowd. Brave words, but bravery without clarity is just foolishness. Jenna's fists clenched, nails biting into her palms. "Do you think you can intimidate me with shadows? You're the one bound by the darkness you claim to represent." The figure's crooked smile faltered, the corners of its shadowy mouth twitching as if reflecting uncertainty. "Is that so? You believe you can cut the ties with your past with mere words?" "Words and action," she countered, her pulse thundering in her ears. "You think my tattoos are chains that bind me? I see them as maps of survival. Every scar and ink mark tells a story of resilience." With a sudden eruption, the darkness swelled, swirling like a tempest around her. Jenna felt it squeezing her lungs, a chilling grip wrapping around her throat. Panic fluttered within her, but she pushed the fear down. "You don't control me," she shouted, her voice breaking through the torrent. She reached out, straining against the suffocating darkness that sought to envelop her, and pressed her palm against the shadowy figure. A blinding spark ignited at their contact. Light cascaded into the gloom, illuminating the figure's face momentarily. A face both familiar and foreign, twisted into a mockery of her own. Memories surged at her, a childhood moment, filled with laughter, now stained by darkness. The shadowed figure was her past, alive and clawing for recognition. "Face me, not as an enemy, but as a part of you," it hissed, the voice a dreadful harmony of her deepest regrets and lingering sorrows. Drawing a deep breath, Jenna steadied herself against the suffocating weight. She could feel the warmth radiating from her skin, the memories inked into her flesh burning with undeniable energy. "You're right," she breathed. "I can't erase you, but I can accept you. I can use you." The shadows stuttered, uncertain. Shadows flickered, hesitating as Jenna drew on her strength. "You want me to fear you, to run, but I want to. You're not my jailer. You're the path to my freedom." And just like that, as if Jenna had flipped a switch, the darkness shifted around her. A gust of wind sliced through, forcing the shadows back, and with it came a wave of clarity. Her tattoos glimmered, each line and swirl illuminating, and behind her, the frightened faces of the crowd gazed in awe, suspended in the moment. Jenna's heart raced with possibilities. This was the confrontation she long desired. A reckless dance between acceptance and retreat. What lay ahead remained uncertain, yet she felt exhilaration nip at her skin. With newfound power pulsating in her veins, she could reshape her story, rewrite her fate. But as hope glimmered ahead, dark whispers echoed in the air, laced with challenge. Could the light truly conquer the depths of despair? What further secrets remained to unravel in the tangled web of her past? The path unfolded before her, and just as she took a step forward, the shadows swirled ominously, ready to show her what lay beyond the threshold of acceptance. And Jenna wondered, was she ready for what awaited? The shadows writhed like serpents, twisting around Jenna's ankles as she took her first step into the uncertain light ahead. The rush of power, her own acceptance, clashed violently with the remnants of fear still rattling in her chest. A chill danced along her spine, whispers weaving through the night, probing her resolve. "What do you think you can do?" The figure sneered, its voice laced with the bitterness of regrets. "You think confronting me will cure you?" Her breath hitched, each exhale like a battle cry against the pulling tendrils of darkness. "I don't need to cure myself. I need to understand." The looming mass quaked, and with it came visions, fragments of her life, all thick with memories. Faces from her past flashed by, friends who had grown distant, lovers who disappeared into the fog of her mistakes, and family, lost and broken, echoing through unhealed scars. Jenna's heart raced, but she locked her eyes on the shadow's shimmering form. "You're all I've ever known," she shouted. "But I'm ready to face what you represent, to grow beyond you." With that proclamation, her tattoos glowed brighter, illuminating the darkness surrounding her. Symbols danced across her skin, each one shimmering like a constellation in the night sky, a testament to every struggle and every triumph. She felt the warmth of their memories flood her, igniting a fire within that screamed for freedom. "Child of shadows," the figure recoiled, voice trembling slightly. "Those marks are reminders, encumbrances of your past." "Not anymore," she shot back, determination fortifying her stance. "They are my survival story, each one a battle I've fought, a lesson I've learned." With a swift movement, Jenna thrust her palm against the figure again. But this time, the light surged forth with blinding intensity. Waves of brightness exploded from her core, pushing the shadows back in a furious push and revealing fragmented glimpses of her forgotten life, a family dinner, laughter echoing, and a mother's warm embrace lost to the cold touch of grief. And within that cascade of light stood the reflection of her childhood self, eyes wide with innocence, starkly contrasting the dark figure before her. Fear gripped Jenna's heart, and the memories burned, bright reminders of who she had been, who she had lost in the tides of time. "Jenna," the shadow hissed, "I see that what you truly miss, you can never fully recapture what has been lost." A wave of sorrow washed over her, choking back the tears. But accompanied by that anguish was an ember of newfound strength, glowing fiercely. "What's lost stays in the past, but it shapes who I become. I can build my future while holding on to those pieces. You don't own me." The dark figure writhed in frustration, shadows swirling chaotically around it, and Jenna pressed her advantage. "Your hold on me is broken. I've seen the light, and now I refuse to be just a shadow of who I could be." The tension crackled in the air, the battle between light and darkness paralyzing the crowd behind her. Murmurs of disbelief echoed, filtering through the fear-stricken faces, their astonishment palpable as Jenna's raw emotion radiated like beacon. Then the shadows surged, unwilling to yield completely. "But what if there's another truth waiting?" The mocking tone coiled around her like a serpent. "What truth?" Jenna dared to ask, her voice surprisingly steady amid the uncertainty. "Can you handle the secrets behind those very tattoos you cherish? The truth about your scars runs deeper than skin." The chilling revelation hung in the air, ghostly and uninvited. Doubt crept into Jenna's mind, and as uncertainty tainted her heart, the shadows shifted closer once more. A flash of panic pierced through her newfound courage, and even the light dimmed momentarily. A deep breath steadied her. What were those secrets? Desperation filled Jenna's chest. The battle was far from won. In that instant, she realized, Acceptance only opened the door to further trials. But would she have the power to unlock the next chapter of her story? And what dark truths awaited her beyond the acceptance of her past? The darkness surged forward as if mocking her uncertainty, and Jenna braced herself for what lay ahead, her heart thrumming wildly in her chest. Would she have the strength to face not just what had been, but what was yet to come? The shadows descended on Jenna like an impending storm, each tendril gripping tighter, drawing upon her doubts. A cold sweat trickled down her back as she fought to maintain her focus. The crowd, previously enthralled, now recoiled in collective fear, their expressions a mix of panic and disbelief. Deeper than skin, she whispered, grappling with the haunting implications of those words. What could it possibly mean? The dark figure seemed to grow larger, its mass looming ominously. Ah, the child wants to play pretend. Let us unveil the truth, shall we? Each tattoo is not just a mark of your survival. It's a key to the doors you never intended to unlock. Jenna's skin prickled, a sensation like icy fingers crawling across her body. What doors? What truths? The voice twisted like a knife in her gut. Your tattoos hold the echoes of pain, Jenna. Moments of weakness. Each line tells a story of betrayal, of choices you've made to protect yourself. With shaky hands, Jenna traced the ink spiraling down her arm. Memories crashed over her like waves, reminders of every heartbreak and every battle. But what if those marks contained more than just stories? Her heart raced. Why are you torturing me? She finally shouted, forcing herself to stand firm against the pull of despair. Torturing? No, my dear. I'm offering clarity. Faced with the truth, you have a choice. Embrace it or live in the darkness of denial. But you must ask yourself. The figure leaned closer, a sinister smile creeping across its shadowy lips. Can you face the burden of those truths? Fear threatened to swallow her whole, but through the turmoil, a flicker of defiance sparked. Bring it on, she challenged, though her voice trembled. Show me. The shadows rippled like dark water, and suddenly, the air stirred. A vision flashed before her, horrifying and visceral, the memory of her first tattoo. In a desperate bid for self-expression, she had chosen the design without understanding its significance. A phoenix to symbolize rebirth, but in the darkness, it morphed into something else. The sharp needle had dug deeper than skin. No, she gasped, jolting back from the vivid image. I thought it was a sign of strength. Did you? The figure's voice was syrupy sweet, taunting her. In truth, you turned to ink to bury the pain, to hide from the truth of your weaknesses, to forget the ugly sides of who you are. What if I told you that your fear of your scars transforms into chains that bind you? Every breath felt heavy as realization crashed down, each word leaving her more vulnerable. Jenna's tattoos weren't just emblems of empowerment. They were markers of every dark moment she had tried to escape. And the second secret? She dared to ask, thrumming anxiety vying for control, but she pressed on. What's next? The regrets etched in your skin do not just tell a story. They act as anchors. They hold you back. The second truth is that your power resides in understanding this binding. To let go, to move forward, you have to confront the consequences of your past decisions. Jenna's mind reeled. How could she confront the weight of her past? It felt impossible, like pulling herself out of quicksand. And the third? She breathed, heart pounding. Perhaps it's time to see who truly holds the power. The figure hissed, because darkness is never without its secrets. Can you bear the price of freedom? An icy chill sliced through her chest. What price? Desperation clawed at her throat. Facing the truth won't be easy. It continued, a sinister undertone threading its voice. Because you have more scars than you can bear. The panic bubbled up as Jenna felt her tattoos pulse furiously, as if responding to the challenge. She sought the strength to push forward, to embrace her flaws, but doubt gnawed at her. Would she uncover truths too painful to process? The shadows began to cyclone around her, clawing deeper into her psyche as Jenna's breath quickened. What if, in that darkness, lie secrets she had buried so deep she wouldn't want to dig them up? The figure extended a shadowed hand, beckoning her closer to the brink. She had to decide, could she step into the void? As hesitation gripped her, Jenna realized that facing this darkness was inevitable. But what lay beneath the surface? Her heart raced with a fear and adrenaline she had never known. Would this be the moment of truly impossible choices? As Jenna stared into the figure's abyss, trepidation coursed through her veins like venom. The shadows swirling around her pulsed with a life of their own, each tendril whispering secrets she wasn't ready to confront. The air thickened, heavy with unspoken memories and unhealed wounds. The figure's presence loomed larger, each word it spoke resonating like thunder in her ears. You seek courage, don't you? But understand this strength is more than bravado. It's the willingness to peel back the layers of your flesh, to confront the scars that haunt you. Jenna's heart sank at the thought, a deep-seated dread tightening its grip. What if I don't want to see? She cried, clenching her fists to steady herself. What if what I find destroys me? Then you will understand, the figure replied, its voice smooth as silk yet cracked like broken glass. You will finally know who you were always meant to be. All it takes is a step into the abyss to embrace the truth. The shadows licked at her heels as if coaxing her closer. Jenna hesitated, each second stretching like dark taffy. Inspiration flickered to life amidst her turmoil. This was her chance at release. She could no longer allow her tattoos to bind her. They had become part of her, yet they didn't have to control her fate. Fine, she gasped, a newfound determination igniting within her. I'm ready. Show me. The figure grinned, the darkness swirling with excitement. With a swift motion, it plunged its hand into the void, and the air shimmered. A holographic display ignited before Jenna, revealing the swirling ink of her tattoos transformed into vibrant colors. Suddenly, the first memory came crashing through. A girl, younger, sitting nervously in a tattoo parlor, fueled by impulse and a false sense of freedom. The phoenix was alive with flames, but as the video glitch flickered, it turned negative. The fire shrank, and the wings were chained down, smothered. The freedom you sought was only an illusion, the figure said, its voice dripping with malice. You embraced a facade. Look closer. Jenna winced but leaned forward, her chest tight. The vision focused in on a boy, his face twisted in anguish. He was pleading, reaching out for her, but she turned away, choosing the ink over connection. I didn't I was scared, she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. I wanted to escape. Ah, escape, the figure exclaimed. But every time you ran, you left pieces behind, pieces of him, pieces of you. That boy was a choice, choosing regret instead of love, and this, it gestured broadly, is your burden. Jenna felt the weight of those words settle heavily on her shoulders. Her breath quickened, a sense of guilt piercing her heart as memories of so many lost moments flooded her mind. There were tattoos inked not just on her skin but embedded in her soul like a prison. No more, she gasped, clutching her head, trying to suppress the tidal wave of emotions overwhelming her. This can't be all I am. Oh, but it is, the figure whispered, eyes gleaming in delight. This is just a glimpse of what's to come. The deeper you go, the stronger the chains grow. Now let us move to your second tattoo. Shall we? With a flick of its wrist, the second graphic appeared, her inked dream an intricate design of thorns surrounding a heart. The vision trembled as it untangled itself from her skin. With each beat, a surge of old pain welled within her, memories of betrayal clawing their way back to the surface. A familiar voice echoed in her mind, a friendship shattered, promises broken. You chose the thorns over the beauty inside, it taunted. Her heart sank as Jenna recalled that night, the argument that spiraled out of control. She cringed at seeing the hurt in her friend's eyes. All for that stupid tattoo, she shouted, tears welling. It meant nothing, just a cover-up for the hurt. Ah, the figure chuckled darkly, but sometimes the truth hurts even more. The shadows tightened around her, merging as unfathomable darkness threatened to swallow all light. As panic surged within her, she faced the reality she couldn't escape what she had done. Next, to her flickering visions lay the spirit of each regret, pulling her deeper into the chaos. Fight it or succumb, the figure hissed. What will you do? Jenna's breath caught in her throat as her fists clenched tighter. The moment pressed in, she had to find a way to reclaim her power. With dawning clarity, she felt the tattoos pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat. Perhaps they were more than her chains. But before she could make sense of it, the shadows twisted violently, and the ground beneath her feet began to tremble. Do you dare to take that step? Her voice wavered, but she managed, yes. Show me the truth, show me everything. As the shadows began to morph into a torrent of blurred memories, a nagging question prickled in her mind. Was she strong enough for the revelation hiding in the darkest corners? In the eye of the storm, one thing became painfully clear: what lay ahead wouldn't just change her life. It would redefine who she was meant to be. Would she emerge reborn? Or would the darkness consume her entirely? The shadows roared like a feral beast, the swirling darkness closing in on Jenna as the ground shook violently beneath her. Tiny tremors crawled up her legs, setting her heart racing. Panic clawed at her throat, but something deeper was igniting. She fought to hold her ground, remembering the weight of her choices hanging over her, like a storm about to break. Are you ready for the truth? The figure crooned, its voice echoing off the walls of nothingness that surrounded her. We are just getting started. Suddenly, Jenna was thrust into another memory, a vortex swirling around her like a cyclone of color and pain. The scene landed heavily. She was back in her childhood home, watching her younger self kneeling at a table scattered with drawings. The dots of bright colors, the pastels, erased the shadows for a moment, but they also smeared into something darker. Look closely, the figure urged, pointing a gnarled finger at the image. Jenna leaned into the pain. That innocent girl, her eyes wide and hopeful, was now shadowed by regret. Just then, a new face graced the memory: a mother, tears streaming down her cheeks. No words left to say. I wanted to make you proud, Jenna's younger self stammered, the words echoing painfully in her ears. But you didn't choose the path that would make me proud, the figure hissed with a delightfully cruel tone. You chose this instead. This is the truth you are trying to escape. You chose your tattoos and the chaos they brought. When Jenna felt the tug of that emotion, she gasped and clutched at her chest. How could she have felt so alive, yet so empty at the same time? The drawing that once felt empowering suddenly felt like a weight she'd been dragging behind her through every step of her adult life. I thought they were expressions of freedom. I thought they made me feel alive, she cried, desperation spilling from her lips like a torrent. The deeper anguish crept in as the hologram flickered and blurred. What was I supposed to do? Freedom is earned, dear Jenna, not stolen, the figure whispered, its eyes alight with sadistic glee. You took the shortcut and ran from the hurt instead of facing it. Now what will you do? The shadows surrounding her swelled, their energy caressing her skin with a coldness that seeped into her bones. Each tattoo throbbed in response, alive with her heartbeat, yet heavy with her pain. She felt the full enormity of her mistakes sweeping over her like a dark tide. She could almost hear the whispers of the past, a chorus of voices reminding her of the choices she had made, the love she pushed away. Suddenly, a flicker of light pierced the heavy cloak of despair, and Jenna caught a glimpse of something else, a glimpse of strength wrapped in vulnerability. I'm tired of running, she breathed, her voice rising above the chaos. I'm ready to own my truth, however painful it is. What a brave little girl you are, the figure chuckled, but its derision held a hint of unease. But can you walk this path? The truth is a relentless beast. It demands blood, sweat, and tears. The shadows shifted, swirling harder now, almost as if they now feared her recognition. Jenna felt her heart quicken. The realization washed over her: it was time to stop deflecting her wounds. The tattoos didn't have to symbolize her chains. They could be footprints of her journey, a testament to her survival. As she took a step forward into the swirling darkness, something inside her trembled, a brew of exhilaration and dread. I will face the beast. Show me the truth I must confront. The figure faltered for just a moment, its grin faltering as shadows swelled around her, chaotic and hungry. Each flash of memory tugged harder, the illumination pushing against the tide of despair. But just as she drew near, another memory ripped through the vortex, a glowing design, a tattoo she had vowed to forget. This one felt raw and primal, a mark of betrayal. And suddenly, she realized just how much danger she was about to invite. The snakes of truth coiling uncomfortably tight. Would facing this truth finally break the cycle of despair, or would it drag her under? Ensnared by the darkest tattoos inked deep within her, Jenna's breath hitched as the shadow figure drew closer. With the abyss whispering her name, the darkness seemed to press in, promising secrets long buried. What more would be revealed when the final piece of her past unraveled? Would she be strong enough to embrace it? The question loomed, were those tattoos not just her burden, but a key to liberation? As the shadows howled louder, every heartbeat echoed her determination and her fear. Jenna felt the weight of anticipation hanging heavily in the air. The swirling shadows pulsed, sending tendrils of cold dread creeping down her spine. Fear lurked in the corners of her mind, but she refused to let it swallow her whole. Fear has held me captive long enough, she shouted, her voice piercing through the tumult. The dark figure before her hesitated, momentarily caught off guard by her declaration. You think defiance will save you? Scoffed. Denial breeds destruction, and you are steeped in it. No, Jenna affirmed, clenching her fists. I am ready to confront the truth, no more hiding. She took a step closer, her heart racing but her resolve steady. Show me everything. With a wicked grin, the figure stretched out its shadowy arms. Very well. Let the winds of revelation unfurl before you. Suddenly, the world around her shifted, colors swirling into a tempest of life and anguish. She was hurled into another memory, one of vibrant laughter and hopeless despair combined. A sunny day at a county fair, where she had run away from everything. She could hear the laughter of her friends, but that joy turned jarring as she spotted herself nervously retreating into the crowd. A decision carved in loneliness. Remember this day? The figure whispered, its voice dripping with venom. You chose to walk away. Pain pierced through her heart as she remembered the friends she had distanced herself from in the pursuit of escaping her guilt. I thought they would understand, she murmured, the words slipping through her clenched throat. Understand? Or were you merely too afraid to face them? With that single question, Jenna felt the shadows tighten around her, their ferocity underscoring her regret. I was scared, she admitted softly, but that fear has only haunted me since. Haunted you? Not just haunted, child. That fear is a chain, binding you to your past choices. Are you willing to sever it? The ground trembled, the very world around her bending to the will of her choices. Another flicker of light caught her eye, the memory of a tattoo she had chosen to forget. An image of a delicate bird, soaring high, its wings clipped by shadows. The weight of each ounce of regret crashed against her, and her breath caught in her throat as the realization washed over her. It represented everything she had lost by running from fear. Do you see? The figure pressed, its voice dark and mocking. These choices return to haunt you because you refuse to own them. I've lived in that shadow long enough, Jenna said, fighting to embrace her truth. What awaits me on the other side? Pain and liberation, for they are intertwined. If you want to be free, you have to confront what you've buried beneath the ink. I'm ready, she shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. A determination bloomed in her heart, warm and shiny like fresh sunlight breaking through the clouds. With each heartbeat, the realization grew stronger. These tattoos were not shackles but symbols of her journey. They told the stories of all the battles she had fought and survived. The shadows around her writhed, uncertain. You think you can rewrite your story without facing the darkness? I don't belong to you, Jenna declared, defiance lighting her voice. Each marking is proof of my resilience, not weaknesses. With renewed strength, she stepped through the void where the shadows gathered thickest, and the world exploded into light. Bright colors flooded her vision, each hue representing a moment in her life she had implored to escape. Ink and skin do not define me. I define what they represent, Jenna shouted, her voice cutting through the swirling chaos. As shadows recoiled from her fiercely pulsing light, every tattoo glimmered, shining brighter with each moment of acceptance. Jenna felt her past spill forth, no longer a prison but a teacher guiding her toward the future. The figure shrieked, rattled for just a moment, the equilibrium shifting. "You think you've won?" "Not yet," Jenna breathed, eyes catching the shimmer of hope glinting ahead. "But I refuse to give in. I will break these chains." The shadows cascaded around her, and for the first time, Jenna truly felt their weight but looked beyond them into the clarity of what they could represent. With newfound energy, Jenna pushed the darkness away like a shroud, breathing deeply. "This is my story, and I hold the pen." In that moment, she understood. She could transform pain into power. As the shadows began to thin, Jenna stepped forward, not retreating but advancing into her truth, alighting like a phoenix rising. With the weight of her past settling into place, she took one last look at the figure before her reckoning, and felt gratitude surfacing. Not fear, not resentment, only acceptance. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice grounded and steady. Her journey wasn't over, but she was on her way to becoming the author of her own saga. The scars would remain, but now they were hers. The darkness shivered and folded back, revealing vibrant hues of life, love, and resilience, the true meaning behind her ink. As the last of the shadows faded, Jenna stood taller, the light no longer a haunting but a guiding dawn. She took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever came next. And as she stepped forward, the night sighed, its shadows gently receding, borne away by the promise of a new day, a chapter yet unwritten. If you've made it this far, it means you're a true fan. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss our next exclusive stories. Smash that like button, feed the algorithm. Let us get this community thriving. Flood the comments with your thoughts and theories about this mind-blowing conclusion. And don't wait even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful journey and know they, too, can redefine their past. Embrace the light, friends.